AutoZone. So AutoZone's reporting Tuesday before the bell. Now, AutoZone's an interesting one because obviously they're benefiting still massively from like the used car auto market, right? Being and people just continuing to drive old internal combustion engine cars. Where right now it's an interesting time for AutoZone. This stock has performed amazing. And by the way, and this is actually a stock my dad told me about probably 10, 12 years ago. He's not like a stock market investor or anything like that, but he's always just paid attention to a couple things. And he always said, AutoZone, great stock to buy. And man, I should have bought it. I mean, it's performed amazing, right? Up 600+% over the past decade or so. But the one thing I'll say about AutoZone is this decade we're going through right now, this is the glory days of AutoZone. And they're going to have to completely reinvent their business model, to be quite frank, okay? They've done so well under the internal combustion engine, obviously, days, right? And they're going to continue to thrive over this entire decade because, internal combustion engine vehicles aren't going anywhere over this next 8 to 10 years. Obviously, EVs are going to continue to take more and more market share, but the used auto market is still going to be massive for internal combustion engines. But I would say this decade is very important that AutoZone focuses on what's the next thing. They're going to tell you when everybody's driving EVs around, that's not going to be very good for AutoZone's business. So they're going to be at an interesting inflection. They're going to need to take every profit they have possible and reinvent this business so they can last past this era we're in right now. Because otherwise, people are just going to be looking back and like, well, that was the glory days of AutoZone. No different than people look back at, the 90s as kind of the glory days of department stores, right? You got to reinvent yourself. I got to give my dad, props on this because, like I said, he never got into stocks, but I remember this one in high school. He was specifically about this Milby company. Oh, they sell this, kitchen equipment and whatnot. And I was looking at this stock, and since the days I was in high school, man, the stock's up almost 2,000%. Holy smokers, man! He should have got into stocks. That's all I got to say about that, man. I think he could have done decent for himself. Okay, so the only two stocks I really remember him ever bringing to me was AutoZone and Middleby, and both of them have done pretty well over the years, nonetheless, okay? Intuit is reporting Tuesday after the bell. Intuit, known for obviously their TurboTax products, QuickBooks, and many other various companies they own. But in regards to this one, this is a weird situation. I was actually looking at their numbers, and something doesn't look right here, okay? So expect to have 8% revenue growth in this current quarter, and they usually always have a massive, kind of April quarter there because of the TurboTax business, right? And the tax-related business in general. But I was looking, and something doesn't seem right. They're expected to only have 1% revenue growth next quarter. Doesn't look right, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Intuit smashes that and maybe the stock flies on that. I mean, it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right at all, to be honest, okay? Disney alert. Disney alert here, folks. Disney just went under $90 a share, right? Now, there's a lot of crap going on with Disney right now, right? They got their streaming business that they're trying to really get to profitability, and that's obviously a massively hard thing to do. They're thinking about streaming ESPN as a full service, right? Which is something they got to consider. They have the DeSantis situation in Florida, which is a massive kind of news story that's going on right now, right? And plus, Bob Iger just took over the helm at Disney once again as CEO just, a few months ago now at this point in time. So you have a lot going on here with Disney, okay? So is Disney stock a buy, okay? What I will say is yes, it is a buy right now. This is the time to be a buyer of Disney stock. This next 6 to 9 months here, I don't think you're not going to get a time period for Disney where you're going to get more worries than right now, okay? This is, in my opinion, kind of the peak fear of all this crap. The DeSantis stuff in Florida, you got the streaming business question, you got Bob Iger coming back. You got so much going around Disney right now, right? Are they going to split off ESPN? What are the unit economics of that if that happens? How does it change their relationship with other partners? There's a million questions. And for a company like Disney that at the end of the day, like they're going to be as relevant 5 years from now as they are today, if not more relevant, right? Like they do their thing. These are the sorts of opportunities you got to take advantage of when there's a million questions and there's a lot of confusion. And that's where Disney's at right now. And so I just look at this next 6 to 9 months. If anybody's ever wanted to be a shareholder of this company, this is that time to be a buyer. Because I can tell you, these sorts of moments in these sorts of companies they don't just always come around. And to hope there's going to be a situation that's even worse for Disney is not very realistic in regards to that. It's always a crazy event could happen or something like that, but it's not super realistic. So I look at the next 6 to 9 months as being a great opportunity to buy a stock like Disney, okay? Palantir is probably the most Interesting story in the entire stock market right now, in my opinion. This stock continues to soar and soar and soar, up another 6% plus here today. In the public count, we're up $3,800 on Palantir stock here today. The stock's climbed immensely, right? It's up 60% in a snap of fingers here in regards to Palantir, right? Continued buying pressure and buying pressure and buying pressure. Now, this was news that came out today. This is very important. Okay, not just in terms of what the deal means, but really in terms of what this means for Palantir much bigger. What's going on here, okay? So CNA and Palantir develop artificial intelligence model to optimize the product purchasing and inventory restocking process. Check this out. Palantir, a leading operating system in modern enterprise, and CNA, Modus, one of the largest retail chains in the fashion world, announced the development of an integrated management flow system. Using Palantir's Foundry platform, the software helps increase CNA's ability to reinforce assertiveness and speed of inventory through alerts regarding restocking products in their portfolio of best-selling pieces, optimizing the company's supply chain. We are the first Brazilian fashion retail brand to rely on this artificial intelligence technology. The flow developed allowed us to optimize and speed up the entire process, the purchase process, from the initial planning to sending the products to the stores. Among the significant gains, I'd highlight the increase of sales of products that were in stock and the reduction of unnecessary overstock. That's huge. Planning on business intelligence, that's phenomenal, okay? Over the course of 3 months, Palantir implemented the entire flow of ingestion, processing, and generating purchase recommendations for all the best-selling products, including new models. The Foundry software reconciled numerous variabilities that influence long-term inventory planning, sales seasonality, product performance variations, financial criteria, and other factors. Now, we formed a digital twin of the company's logistics chain, giving the planning teams not only a complete view of the purchasing process, but also the power to quickly simulate new rules and scenarios, and thus prevent extreme situations. This is what I always talk about in regards to Palantir, right? This is a company, the simplest way I could put it is it's going to help your company, your big company, make much better decisions. And those decisions could either make you a lot more money or save you a lot more money. And as long as they make you a lot more money or save you a lot more money than whatever you spend on Palantir, your ROI is phenomenal. And what we're hearing from a lot of these folks that are using Palantir's products is them saying these exact things. Like Palantir's been a game changer for us, right? It's having our business run much more efficiently, much better than it was if we didn't use Palantir. And so this is good stuff, folks, and it's just a matter of time before this catches on more and more and more and more. And the more stories get out there about this, the more it impacts, obviously, Palantir in a very positive way. So I'm thrilled about that. I think, the sky's the limit in regards to that, right?